Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. And I just want to say to all of you, first of all, hopefully it's not too loud with the fans going. It just got kind of warm, so I had to turn on the fans. I wanted to say that even though I talked about this before, but like I said, there was very few people that I was able to interview. So I actually interviewed a person that she's the same one that did that reaction video of 2 a.m. The Smiling Man. I wanted to ask her because we talked about this before in one conversation about how blacks and Hispanics that are very ghetto, why they act the way they do, why they behave the way they do, and why their reputation is just so bad. And I argue, and my argument was, it's not because of race. It has nothing to do with race. It has a lot to do with the environment that they grew up in, and in some cases, even genetic. Because some of them are born with the warrior gene. And hopefully a lot of you are familiar with what the warrior gene is. I suggest you look it up if you don't know. But as a quick summary, it's a gene that's in your DNA that's inherited from your parents, or from your mother's side of the family, or your father's side of the family. It could be from someone's cousin. It could be from an uncle or an aunt from either side of the family, in which they become very quick-tempered, arrogant, competitive, and extremely violent. They can't help it. They're into violence. Like, an example would be like someone like Two Gun Tommy, that real infamous mafia guy from the movie Goodfellas, but the real Two Gun Tommy. I wouldn't doubt it if he had the warrior gene. Now Italians also have a reputation of being quick-tempered and stuff like that. But the most common misconception is the fact that because of their race, that's why they're like that. It's family genetics. It's not really racially genetic. It's not with race. It has to do with the family. Now, another part of it, aside from genetics, another part of it is because of the environment and how hardworking people are getting fucked over, and then their kids are actually seeing all this negativity around them. And that's why they grow up to be to get into trouble. They end up going to juvie. They end up joining gangs. So much bad things that happen. Now, in this interview, I got her opinion. She expressed her opinion on what she actually thought about it, what she actually felt. And this is the interview right now. Okay, because I remember talking to a bunch of people before about like when I was growing up, like there used to be, there's a lot of arrogance I noticed with my own people, with the Mexicans. I noticed that with Puerto Ricans too. I call it the ethnic arrogance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I noticed that even where I used to live in the hood, there was a Mexican bar, and it turned out to be some kind of nightclub, but there was fights that happened there almost every weekend, and guys taking off their shirts and this is "te vas a pagar," and showing off their machismo, and there's thugs and troublemakers, and the neighborhood just got worse and worse, to the point that my mom and a bunch of other residents started to complain to have that place closed down, and it took a lot, but it worked.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, I don't want to sound like like I'm being racist towards my own people, but I noticed there's a lot of arrogance, and it seems like something that most people don't want to talk about. Is there anything you want to add to it? Did you agree with it to a sense? Do you find that arrogance with Puerto Ricans también?
I find it mostly on, to be honest, in every race. It's not about the race. Basically, it's just how people I think how people is being raised when they're growing up. That's what I think. Or what they grew up seeing, or what they grew up with behaviors with their own parents. I think that sometimes growing up, they're not being disciplined how they're supposed to, or they see things that they're not supposed to be seeing. And I do see a lot of ignorance, like a lot from either African Americans or a lot of Hispanics, like you said, such as me driving. Like yesterday, this African American man just cut me off and almost hit me with the car. Me trying to get the plates, went off crazy, threatened me to hurt me, wanted to hit me with a truck, which is out of control, which I didn't think it has to go to that extreme. So I think there is, like you said, a lot of it, and many different people. So yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not like I was even saying to some people. It's not really. It's not necessarily race.
Yeah, it's just how they. It's just how people are being raised, or how they want to show up or be who they want to be. I don't know.
It's more to me. I think when people are just too ghetto. I think it's a ghetto problem, as far as their attitude and the way they're, the environment and stuff like that. And they learn a lot of these type of negative things, and then, I mean, I noticed I used to live in the hood, and I noticed that a lot, like crazy, and the parents are messed up.
It's sad.
And I noticed that too, but a lot of them, it's the attitudes that a lot of them have that gets me so angry.
Sometimes it's not like there's not sufficient support and help, either from the government, because a lot of people don't have enough money. There's parents that are struggling to get their kids out of the hood, or in bad situations, and they can't even afford it. So some people either they get angry, or some people take it out of other people, because it happens. That's what I think. So. Yeah, so I don't know.
And even when I moved over, remember I told you about that black guy that threatened me, so I got to know stupid.
Yeah.
He's behaving stupid.
See, that's the whole fucking point. I want them ladies to move so I can knock your ass out.
Oh my God, see
Michael,
what I mean?
Shut up already, yeah.
Okay, está bien.
That ain't finna be bien. I know Spanish too. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm the real nigga. Yeah, come on, you good. But if he come past here, I'm knocking his ass out. Bottom line.
And he just went off on me like that, and then I was like, see, what the hell is this guy's problem? And it's not because he's black. It has nothing to do with him being black.
Yeah, I know.
It has a lot to do with him. He was just way too damn ghetto. Extremely ghetto, and he thinks there's nothing wrong with that, and he starts saying a lot of stupidity about, like just because I was talking to my sister, she told me to calm down, and I said, okay, está bien. And then he starts saying, says, I know Spanish too. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm a real nigga. And he started acting all stupid. Remember I showed that to you though? And then,
yeah, you did.
And this guy was just stupid. And the way he just wanted to fight me just because of that. Is that type of ignorance? I mean, of course, somebody who's also naive will use the N-word. Will say, well, that stupid nigger this or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Or they'll just use some kind of other type of bad language. But it's not the race. It's the way of thinking, the way they behave, the way they learn, and they think it's acceptable.
I think that they behave like because they want to. Like I said, it's ignorance, and for their age, there's a lot of people that are older than me, like 40s and 50s, act crazy and outraged, and they want to fight you, they want to hit you, they want to do this, and I don't get like what's the purpose of doing that. I just don't get it. So this is why a lot of people, innocent people, do bad things to others because they do it to them. So this is like road rage, like in the streets, and there's more of that going on because of those type of people. That's why there's a lot of more of war between each other. So it does happen a lot.
Because I do argue to some degree,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because
Yeah.
I do argue that sometimes it is genetics.
Mhm.
Sometimes their behavior is because they get that from their father, or they get that from the mother's
Well, yeah,
side of the
they grew
family,
up saying that they think it's okay to behave like that.
and because it's something in their DNA that causes them. Like there's something called the warrior gene. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Well,
I
I
don't know if
can
you heard
say
of-
like ADHD, impulsive disorder, or bipolar. Those are like kind of like the serious. Bipolar is kind of like a serious one, because you could be okay, all of a sudden you could be in a very bad mood, want to break something or hurt somebody, because that's kind of like bipolar too.
Yeah. Well, the warrior gene is something different.
Yeah.
And it has to do with someone being very competitive. They like to fight all the time. They get angry very easily.
Yeah.
The warrior gene has been proven to exist, but a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people who think that it's a bunch of bullshit because like they're using that for an excuse for racism.
Oh.
There's a lot of Italians have it. You know how they say, "Oh, this guy's Italian people are crazy." Italian people their arrogance and this and that, and they get an attitude.
Oh.
I would like to hear anybody's opinion on this, especially blacks and Hispanics that actually agree with this. I'm not trying to sound like a bigot in any kind of way. It's not that I'm trying to criticize my own race or criticize black people because I'm just, a bigot or anything like that. This is something that I noticed that I know to be true. And the behavior is just way too unacceptable. And of course, you do see that with whites. There's Caucasian people, like the one you would consider like trailer parks or white trash. I noticed a lot of their bad attitudes as well. And also when I moved out of the hood, finally, and lived in a much better neighborhood, in a suburban neighborhood, which was really hard for me to even move into, but I managed to do it. And because the neighborhood was really, where I was living in was really getting bad and worse and worse ever since I got jumped, where I got beat up, and where I got mugged. When I finally moved in, I did come across some very stuck-up suburban white people that I know that really didn't like us because of the fact that we were Hispanic and from where we came from. It wasn't everybody. There were some white people there that were very kind and they were very friendly, and they were never aloof with us. And we should talk to them in front of the porch, down the block, or at a park bench at a nearby park. There was a lot of good things that happened. There was a lot of good suburban white people that didn't judge us or became, stuck up or prejudiced against us in any way. But there were also some white people that just didn't want us there. They thought that we didn't belong in that type of atmosphere, that element or whatever. And of course, anybody in their right mind would say, well, fuck you. I came here because of the fact that I needed to get out of the bad neighborhood. And anybody can say I'm not a punk, I'm not ghetto trash. And of course you got, you got people that move into the neighborhood, into a nice neighborhood from the ghetto, and they have no business living there because of their behavior. I noticed a few people, like this one lady that lived down the block from us who was I don't know, I think she was Mexican. I don't remember. But she lived across the street, about 4 houses down the block. She lived by herself, and then for temporarily, a couple of her sons and their cousins or whatever would come by to visit a lot, and they were ghetto. They were ghetto trash, and a lot of their friends would end up visiting them just because they were there. And then it got to the point where someone had to call the police because they were getting too rowdy. So finally, the owner of the house, the mother, she said, "Get the fuck out. You're attracting all these fucking punks to my house. I'm allowing you to live here because you said you wanted to get out of that neighborhood, and here you are bringing all these fucking punks over here. Either you obey from my rules. Either you follow my rules if you live under my roof, or get the fuck out." He ended up moving out because he chose his friends over her. That's how much of a fucking asshole he was. But that's good. That's good. I'm glad that happened that way. But there's bad people. You know, it doesn't matter what race you are, and you know, there's people that are stuck up and snobby. There's people that are ghetto trash. There's so much fucking bullshit. You know, that's just how it is. So hopefully you see my point. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.